What's up, everyone? It's Apex Sidon, and I just want to do a quick run through of the TraderLink um, flow. Just want to run through the dashboard, make it easier for you guys to understand how to use it, how to change filters, and all the good stuff. So this is the dashboard. It's got all the the labels, the time, the ticker, mark, block, sweep, strike, call, put, expiration, day sold, expiration, bid and ask, fill, size, value, sentiment, OI. If the volume is greater than OI, out the money, or if it's a multi-leg trade. So first things first, let's talk about the block and sweep. So the 3 boxes is labeled as a non-sweep. The 4 boxes or the 4 squares that you see are labeled as a sweep, and just the regular box is a block trade, right? So that's the symbols for now. We're working on making it a little easier to read, but just for right now, that's going to be how it is. And so another thing that we want to know is, how do we change the filters, right? So for me, it's more like I want to know, what people are buying in the next like 90 days, right? Or 45 days, 30 days, or even weeklies, right? I don't really necessarily care too much about the 2026, 2025. Well, 2025 actually is not too bad, but as far as like the 2026 trades, you know, I don't really care that much unless it's a massive order. I know we saw some big, meta 2026 calls that were adjusted and rolled to like the 900 strikes, crazy like that. But normally we just want to know, the next 50 to 70 days, who's buying what, right? Because they're expecting a bigger move in a shorter amount of time, right? Also, I don't, like the in the money, deep in the money flow, because I don't really care about someone buying $1 million or $2 million in an Apple 160 call, right? I would rather see someone put $2 million in an Apple 210 call that expires, in 2 months or 1 month, because they're expecting a pretty big move in the next 30 to 60 days, right? That means more to me. Someone buying $2 million in a deep in the money call with a month or two out, right? So in order to, to kind of make this more organized, what you can do is, if you can go to, for example, the DTE, all you can do is click the 3 dots, and you click filter. So these are my filters right now. So out the money is true. I wanted to make sure that the strikes are out the money. Volume is greater than OI. You can change this. You can play around with this. So I like to have the value to be a minimum of 30,000, because 5,000, 2,000, it just gets very messy. Um, a lot of small orders come in. But that's not me saying that those orders don't work, right? But when you see like a $2,000 order, $3,000 order, it's just like a retail trader, like, many of us, right? But again, sometimes those $2,000, $3,000 orders can, can work. But again, that means if I see those $2,000, $3,000 orders, I'm gonna have to be posting every single one of them. And then if one hits, then I can easily say, oh, this person, paid 2,000 and made 150,000 on this flow trade. It's like it doesn't make any sense, right? So we want to keep it clean, minimum of 30,000. But again, you can always adjust this. As far as days till expiration, so let's just say you want it only to 90 days, right? So you can change this to 90 days, right? You can change this to 180 days. It doesn't matter, right? Whatever you want, you can change it. So all you got to do again is just click, the 3 dots right here, click filter, and it's all here. I mean, you can add a lot more as well. You can put ticker, but ticker is very easy. You just type in the ticker to the right. So when you do all, that's obviously all the tickers, but it will not catch SPY or QQQ. So if you want to do SPY or QQQ or IWM, you gotta either type in SPY to see actually have just SPY, or what you can do is just literally click or just delete the ticker, and then all of the tickers will come. Right. So, but just keep it to all. I personally think that ETF flow is very, very messy. You'll see, people post, like let's say SPY 460 puts for 2 million, 315 expiration. It's like, okay, well, I don't really know what's going on with these ETF flows, right? It just gets very messy. I think the only ones that like could be very effective is like the, 1 day to expiration, or zero DTEs that someone puts in like 700,000, like a kind of an out the money trade, right? Who knows? Maybe some news that comes out, of interest rates or whatever the case may be. That's the more interesting one. But if it's like, the 30 days out, 2 months out, it's like just too much, right? Because then you could honestly change your bias, right? Let's say you're long on, the market, and next thing you just see like this $2 million, spy put. That's like $2, with the money. It might change the way you think, right? So I would honestly kind of ignore, the ETF flow unless it's, really interesting. That's 2 days out, or 1 day out. So that's basically how to change the filters. Now, when I'm looking through, um, the dashboard and what's coming in, what's going out, so what catches my eye, right? So if I'm looking, right, it's very simple. So, for example, win, right? So win 110 call for 621 expiration, 133 days out. It's a bid and ask of 6.25, 6.4. They filled at 6.35 for 1.27 million in premium at the ask. So that looks pretty good, right? 1,000 open interest. So what you can do is, just because it says it right here, you always want to open it up and see the total premium, right? And if it's truly at the ask or if it's at the bid. So up top shows win 110 call, 621 expiration, total premium of 1.38 million, average price of 6.35, 2,000 volume, open interest of 1,000. The green bar means asked, the red bar is bid, average price of the premium, and then mark if it's at the mark, if it's in between the bid and ask. So if you hover over, it shows that 2,112 of them are at the ask. The rest are most likely at the bid, right? It'll show like a little red bar. And if you scroll down, in this case, it's only this one order. You scroll down, you'll show all the orders, but in this case, it is a block, and it's just this one single order, right? So if there's multiple orders, it would actually show all the orders down here, right? So it's very clean, very easy to see. Not a lot is going on. Yeah, this is very clean way of opening up the trade and making sure it's at the ask or the bid. Okay, so again, we're just scrolling through. You can switch the page. Go. Obviously, it's a little better showing it live. But again, it's very simple. It's very easy to read. Like for example, like this one's very clean. It's highlighted in purple because it kind of highlights the whole volume greater than OI at the ask. The expiration is not too far out. So it's like, okay, this looks good. So let's click on it. COOP 75 call 621, 373,000. Average price 370, volume greater than OI. Right? Looks good. It's a very clean flow. Now, how I use flow, right? So even if I'm looking at all these, actually, before we get there, let's see a multi-leg. So if it tags as a multi-leg, right? So that means there's a story behind it. It's not just like a single leg trade, right? So what we're gonna do, and sometimes we still don't, even if it highlights a multi-leg trade, and it doesn't actually show up sometimes, it's fine because we don't necessarily know what could be going on, right? It might tag it, but again, it's not, it hasn't really registered. Yeah, so we might have to wait, right? So right now, like for this example, it's showing that the 14 call for 621 expiration got filled around 1.82 at the bid for 31,000, and then the 14 call again got, filled at 0.83 at the ask. So sometimes it tags a multi-leg, but you got to open it up and see like what's actually happening. So I wouldn't even consider this one as a multi-leg. But then again, it might update, right? So if you want to just make sure, look back and see what truly happened, we can go from there, right? So when it tags as a multi-leg, you still want to make sure what the actual multi-leg is. So yeah, if you do see that, it's highlighted in yellow in a yellow circle. So it's very, very easy to make sure that it's not just a single leg trade, right? So there's definitely a story behind it. It could be a credit spread, debit spread, butterfly, whatever the case may be. So as far as using the flow, again, this is just a back pocket, another tool in your back pocket, right? This is not like, okay, I see an order of 298,000, I'm buying it, right? You always want to match it with your charts, right? Or your risk management, right? So if I'm looking, let's say at this GNRC 125 put for 621 expiration, someone bought $298,000 worth. But I'm going to say, an example for this, right? 298,000 in premium might sound a lot to you, but this is a $1,200 contract or $1,190 contract, right? So only 250 volume. So the number right here might look big, but honestly, it's not, right? Because it's only 250 in size, right? So you can think that it's, a pretty big premium, right? So 309,000 total, but only 260 volume. That's not like the biggest kind of trade, right? What I would like to see, if I wanted to do, like if I go by size, actually let's do by value. And so this is, so look, so here we go right here. So Meta, this 465 put at the bid. So they're saying Meta is not going to go below 465 by expiration. That's 1,500 in size, 640,000 in premium. They filled at 4.15, right? So mostly all at the bid, right? So this is good. This is 1,500 in size at the bid. So what I'm going to do is like, okay, I'm going to go to my chart and see if that makes sense, right? This is definitely a bullish trade, but does it make sense, right? So I'm going to bring out my chart. I'm a swing trader, so I like to keep my charts pretty clean. I used, the 821 250 EMA, the TTM squeeze, and just like the volume, just a normal volume indicator, and simple resistance support, right? So, I'm seeing there's a daily support at 453, resistance at 472. So obviously, if you're in that put that's being sold, you obviously want Meta to break this resistance to go higher. And so that put premium, your goal is for it to be cheaper and cheaper, so you buy it back for less and less, right? So again, that goes for every type of flow trade. Again, unless, right, you just want to like put in a certain amount of money and then you're willing to lose it, right? You don't really want to look at it as trade. It's more of like a flow lotto trade, right? Where you're like, oh, this guy's a big order. It's only like $150 a contract. I'll put in 5 contracts to see what happens, right? Nothing wrong with that. As long as you know how much you're willing to risk, then it's totally fine, right? And now, now I'm looking at the dashboard. Like this is a great trade, right? This looks good, right? This FSLR 180 call, $29 out the money, 315 expiration, 2,000 size, right? 584,000. Okay, so we click this, $698,000 worth of an average price of 238. So this is like a very nice trade as far as flow. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but as far as the flow looks, it's a very nice trade. So 2,400 are at the ask, 498 at the bid. Okay, so this be like, okay, this is clean, right? Volume over OI, out the money, right? Not that far away as far as expiration. So let's bring out the chart, right? FSLR. Okay. So again, you look at the chart, it's like, okay, well, you got it's above the 21 EMA, it's above the 8, right? TTM squeeze is starting to reverse here, right? And someone is betting I mean, a pretty big move, right? They're expecting a $29 move, and look, if it's, you know, it's been really kind of holding that 142 daily support, right? So someone's betting that if it holds this support, I mean, it could fill that gap all the way to, you know, the 160s, 170s, right? So you always want to look at your charts to see if it actually makes sense for you to enter, right? So again, you always want to make sure to, you know, to see if it's truly at the bid, at the ask, match it with your charts, match it with your risk management, and just go from there. The market will do what it wants to do. So it's just you knowing how to minimize your risk. So again, that's about it. I hope I covered most of the things I wanted to cover. If you guys have any questions, you know, feel free to DM me on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, Discord. I'm always there. And yeah, or comment, you know, on the YouTube video, and I'll get to them. So I appreciate you guys taking the time and watching this. Hopefully I'll get more videos out in the near future, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.